All right, hello everybody. This is John Meadows, and I'm getting a lot of questions about keto diets, keto type plans, kind of the new rage. It's not really new. Back in the 80s and 90s in bodybuilding, what we used to do was we followed a low carbohydrate diet, and we used to pee on those little keto strips that you can get in the pharmacy. And back then, the diet plan was to, there was different readings on there depending on how many ketone bodies was in your urine. So you wanted to keep it in trace. Then there was, the deeper you got into ketosis, the more the colors turned purple. Eventually, it would go to moderate, and it would go beyond that. And when you were into that deep of ketosis, usually people would have muscle loss. They'd start getting flat and soft. So there was this magic place to be at, and it was trace on the keto sticks. And the kind of diets we used back then were very high in protein, low in carbs, and low in fat. And that, as you know, is not a true keto diet. But I hear people now saying you can't have a high protein diet and get into ketosis, and that's just wrong. That's just bad information. You can go into ketosis with a high protein diet. I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying there's a lot of misinformation out there. A typical, what you call a true keto diet now, is upwards of 70% fat, maybe 25% protein, 5% carbohydrate. And, those numbers back then were probably 60, 70, 80% protein, a little bit of fat and a little bit of carbs, like 10 and 10% probably. We had no problem getting to ketosis. Now, I bring that up because I don't really care what the macro percentage is for somebody, whether it's a true keto diet or not. What really matters is, what is your goal? Most people's goal that are doing these kinds of diets, the goal is either to burn body fat and get lean, or it's to improve a health marker. For example, a lot of people use keto diets to correct triglyceride levels. Lower carbohydrates and lower sugar absolutely has a positive effect on triglyceride levels. So I think that's fantastic. And the other thing, like I said, is people trying to diet and get leaner. So they're using these keto diets. I would suggest what is making them leaner is simply lower calories. If they use a little bit higher protein or lower protein, or higher carbs or lower carbs, as long as you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to be heading to where you need to be. And then I think you got to kind of monitor your strength and things like that and your exercise performance. The risk with these keto diets is it's just loss of performance, because carbohydrates are a very good source of fuel. Always have been, always will be. So there is a risk there. And so you have to consider that. Now, do I like keto or dislike keto diets? I don't really care either way. I just think it depends on what your goal is. Whatever your goal is, you need to set up a plan of attack on how to reach those goals. If your goal is performance in the gym, then if you're not going to use carbohydrate as an energy source, you need something as an energy source. When you get deep into diets and you've been low calories, the fact of the matter is performance just suffers. So that's where, interestingly enough, these ketone bodies, they're called BHB salts, come in handy, and they're starting to come out in the supplement world now. And as you know, I have a product that has BHB salts in it. Those BHB salts are actually ketone bodies that give you energy, that can help you fuel through a workout when you're on a low-calorie diet. You're not taking the supplement to put you in ketosis. You don't eat a normal diet and then drink something and all of a sudden go into ketosis. That's not the point. The point is to give you a good, readily available, usable energy source when you train. So that's why I do like those BHB salts, which are ketone bodies. But I just wanted to share some of that basic information. I think a lot of people worry a little bit too much about the macro percentage of the diet. They worry too much about being into ketosis and how deep they need to be into it. What really matters is, are you getting leaner? Do you have energy when you train? And that's really how you got to form your plan. Again, if there's a health issue, then the truly ketogenic diets can cure a lot of health issues. But so you have to kind of look at that, and you have to look at performance. If you are in a low calorie or low carb situation, then the BHB salts will absolutely help give you energy and help you train hard. If your body just feels better on lower carbohydrates, not everybody handles carbohydrates the same. We all have varying insulin sensitivities. If you find that you feel better on keto type diets, then hey, go for it. But don't do it just because you heard your brother's doing it, your cousin's doing it. It has to match what your goals are and how you feel when you're doing it. So there's some experimentation involved. So I would urge you to experiment, find that fine line where you're in a caloric deficit, but you still have energy to train. You don't want to lose all that hard-earned muscle, then everything just gets much more challenging. So just a few thoughts, random thoughts on keto diets. I hope this is beneficial for you. Thank you.